active.
They should
Yeah.
put me in one of those chairs because
You
I
can
got this
text
problem.
it to me.
You over here, so you guys.
Like, stop moving.
We'd be in the middle of a meeting, like, yeah.
Yeah, right, on Zoom.
Okay, so YouTube has accepted the stream.
All right.
Yay.
Now we're waiting for Facebook to accept the stream. Facebook has accepted the stream. Now I'm going to send it to Vicky.
Great.
Might need to do some holistic breathing during this. I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah, oh,
Deep
good.
breaths. Yes. Let your exhale be longer than your inhale.
Yes,
Tries to calm
yes,
your body
yes.
down.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
Afro.
yes, yes.
Oh, that's you. Okay. All right. I'm ready for this. I might not have nothing to say. I'm just be looking at you, though. Tell me more. I think you know Lauren Nostro.
Yes.
We work together at the Community Health Center at Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she talked highly of you.
Really?
Absolutely.
I love Lauren.
I plan on reaching out soon about some things, maybe either before the year is over or next year.
Okay.
Because I help with the victims that was affected by the 514 shooting.
Yeah, yeah.
So we oversee the grant at the Community Health Center. So I'm part of the people that help implement new activity at our satellite place that we're working on.
Okay.
So we'll definitely bring you in. I think yoga is important. It's not a white
yeah.
thing. It's
It is
it's a overall holistic thing.
Right.
I enjoyed it. My first introduction was through hot yoga. I didn't know I was going.
That's
And
a lot of people's introduction.
And nobody told me not to put lotion on. So I'm like, lotion just sweat.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm dirty. But absolutely, I'll definitely get your information.
Yes, yes, please do. Please do. That's dope.
Are we still waiting on
Okay.
Waiting for
something?
Vicky.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm posting. Ready to go as far as this is going.
You ready?
You got it. You
Okay,
got it.
You see the timer at the top of the screen center?
Yeah.
When it says on the air, you are on the air.
Okay.
You ready?
You got this.
I'm ready to clap.
Here's the countdown.
Oh, and everybody here.
All right. Welcome to Talking Peace with the Western New York Peace Center. We are here in the studio with our producer, Richard, and Think Twice Radio, home of the future. I would like to thank our folks over at Buff State, WBNY radio station 91.3 FM if you want to tune in. And thank you to our viewers and listeners. Before we get over to our wonderful guests, I definitely have to do something that we at the Peace Center always do, which is give land acknowledgement. Let me slow down a little. It's important for us to acknowledge that we are on stolen land. It belonged to the Haudenosaunee and Seneca. But also along with land acknowledgements, we like to give thanks. Miss Vicky is the bomb at this. When it comes to this part, she knows exactly what the lingo is, but I know that it deals a lot with nature, the sun, the moon, everything to the heavens. We just give thanks. Kind of just like life in general. That's what I hear when I think of it. So I want to make sure that we do that because it's always important. But now I definitely want to get over to our guests. So with us today on Talking Peace, we have Shawnell Tillery. She is the owner of Afrochick Yoga. She does some great things out here in our community, and we're going to get to that. We've got Franchelle Parker, the executive director of Open Buffalo. Can't wait to get into the conversation with you as well. And last but not least, we've got Eann Robinson, the co-founder of Ear Quality Music. I can't wait. So today's topic, just to jump right into it, is going to be talking about holistic health, holistic healing. Before we get into the actual definition, I would like to start with you, Shawnell. What is it that you think about or value when you think about holistic health?
Holistic health. I think the thing that comes to mind when it comes down to holistic health is the idea of an alternative form of wellness that is not necessarily based in medicine or having to go that route. It's honestly finding things within nature, things within our own body to help bring that wellness and bring that healing to us. So those are the things that come to mind when I think of holistic wellness, just a way to naturally bring well-being and health to your body, your environment, your mind, your spirit, all those things, all those factors.
Okay, I like that. I like
Yes.
that. Definitely resonate with that. And what about you, Franchelle? What are some values and things that you think of when you come across holistic health and healing?
That's been a journey for me. Typically, I think when people think about holistic health, they think about green smoothies and exercise and walking and hiking, and that's a piece of it. But for what does it take for an entire community to heal? And I think that we've, for the first time here in Buffalo, we've actually stopped to pause to really examine, like, what does that really mean for us? And for me, there's a particular song, since we're on a radio show, I'll talk about the song. It's this dope sister. I had never heard of her before. The song is called Lullaby, and it's by a sister named Tasha. And the point of the song is really like, you don't have to save the world. Black girl, you can let your hair down, you can rest, someone else can save the day. And when I heard that, it not only did it strike my spirit, it really made me cry. And how much of my time I have spent trying to save the world, and who's trying to save Franchelle? When does Franchelle sleep with 2 toddlers and a job and community work? Did I drink my 8 glasses of water today? So for me, holistic healing starts with pausing to feel and listen to your own breath, to listen to your body, and just take a nap. Kindergarten nap time is overrated. Put that back in your life. You never should have got cut out.
Put that in the work
so
day.
Just rest. If I could just scream it from the top of City Hall, everybody just slow down and rest. Listen to your spirit. Listen to your body.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Eann?
I don't know what's left. I really enjoy what they both said because I think that's super, super important. I think for me, when it comes to holistic healing, I think for me, my journey started in 2020. We all was locked in. I was so focused about haircuts. You know, as black men, we worry about haircut. Couldn't worry about that at that time. So I started focusing on other things, skincare, mental health. That's when I really realized that, you know, maybe it's time to get additional support. So that holistic healing of, you know, pausing, thinking about doing, they call it a self-inventory. Doing that really allowed me to really assess myself and notice that it's time to do a readjustment. I'm no longer a 20-year-old Eann or a 16-year-old Eann. It's at the time 28-year-old Eann. And I need to become the man that I want to be. In order to do that, I need to do a holistic check. And that's by looking to a therapist, somebody that looks like me, getting back into the gym, adding sea moss to my diet.
I gotta try that.
Yeah, you know, trying new things. I did hot yoga at one point. I did the thing you get in a tube and you just float for a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
I have done that. You know, I'm just trying new stuff, and I think when you got the HSA, you know that comes in handy. But that holistic healing is just tapping to every aspect of your body. As one mentioned, like your mental, your spirit, your spiritual, your physical being. Tap into that, making sure each part of that of your body is taken care of.
Right. I like that. Great feedback. But we didn't even get into the definition. You guys are like, we know what that is.
Oh,
We're on it. Like, yeah, every day, all day. But so for me, before I even get to the value, when I heard of this word holistic, I didn't know what it meant. I really didn't. So I'm thinking religion. Like, are we talking about like religious wholeness? Are we like talking like the Muslim community, the Christian community? What is this? You know, holistic healing sounds like a great prayer or a great day at church to me. But then when I got into it, I was like, So the values that I take from it, or that I think about now that I know what it is, and when I gain the knowledge, is honestly a hobby. Like, have something that you like to do that brings you peace. You know, whether it's music or yoga or drawing or art. It obviously, it not obviously, but it really just screams hobby to me. Get you something that you love to do. It could be riding a bike, you know.
It's
But
holistic healing.
whatever it is it's important as long as it brings you that type of peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys. I like that. To get into the actual kind of definition, it's basically an approach to wellness that addresses the emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and social. You know, did I say emotional already? You know, yeah, that like you know we're
Heavy and emotional.
yeah. So you know some of those examples would be like we talked about yoga, music, art. Self-care, massage. I know everybody could use a massage. And I know I heard the chiropractor was great too. If that's like a step deeper, I need to try
It's
it.
a little bit addictive. Be careful.
Well, okay, so I kind of want to get into the reason why you all are here today. I see that you all contribute to the holistic healing and health of our community in ways, and I'm really interested in getting that out to the public, you know, just in case they need to indulge in a little bit more or learn a little bit in a different area. So I'll start with you again. Why don't you talk about a little bit what you do, Shawnell?
Okay, well, I am Shawnell Tillery. I'm founder and owner of Afrochick Yoga. And basically, Afrochick Yoga is a mobile yoga and wellness service. So we basically take the yoga studio out of the yoga studio and we bring it to the people. So we are able to come to wherever you are, be it your home, be it your school, be it your workplace, and be able to customize a session that is more specifically geared towards your body. Because one thing with yoga that I found in my years of teaching is that yoga is not a one size fits all type of practice. And I think a lot of people approach it as such because they see these images of, you know, different yoga instructors doing all these things with their body that they feel like, oh my God, I cannot do. But it's all about the practice. It's all about building up to that place. And so that's something that we really try to emphasize at Afrochick Yoga. So we have the yoga portion. We also do meditation. We just added on mindfulness services. So we do coaching.
Okay.
That's life coaching, spiritual life coaching, mindset wellness coaching, and fitness and health coaching. Just to cover all the bases of the mind, the body, and the spirit, because we're trying to hit people at every angle. So that's basically what we do. And like I said, we bring everything that you would find in a yoga studio outside of it. And really bring the practice to you, so you don't really have to feel like you have to go out and go into a yoga studio, which the yoga studios and group sessions and all that is absolutely great. But if you're just starting out, there's things like intimidation, there's things like insecurities that you're dealing with that might even prohibit people from coming to a yoga class. And so we try to eliminate all of that by coming to you and, customizing a session that is fit for your body and fit for your needs. So that's basically what we do in a sense, in a whole. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot. Honestly, it sounds like a 360 deal. Like, you guys are kind of everywhere. I think that's amazing. And you're coming to the people. Transportation is definitely a big issue sometimes.
Yeah.
People want to get to resources, but they can't get to them. So for you to be the resource that comes out to people, I think that's cool. A little bit on how I reached out to Shawnell. We were actually talking about it earlier, too. When I came up with the topic for, the holistic, I was like, I got to find somebody who's doing some yoga. So I did a quick search. And those canal side sessions had popped up, and Could you talk a little bit about those sessions? Those are pretty cool.
Yes, yes. First, shout out to Buffalo Waterfront, Highmark, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York. They're the ones who sponsors the Fitness at Canal Side series, which they do every summer. And we were fortunate enough to be a part of their series this summer for a few dates. And those are basically, once again, free yoga sessions to the people. You come outside, be amongst nature, and really be able to jump into the practice. And if that's something that you're wanting to do or were wanting to do, but didn't really have the time or didn't not necessarily have the time but have the money or what have you, like I said, having these free sessions was really, really important. So we did that at Canal Side. We're also going to be doing some other stuff with like Department of Health. You know, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But the Canal Side series was really, really great. Okay. We were able to highlight different styles of yoga that we do because it's once again with Afrochick, it's all about access.
Yeah.
So with yoga not being a one size fits all type of practice, we want to create options, variety, if you will. So we do the more traditional styles of yoga, the vinyasa, the yin yoga.
Wait, I gotta write this down because I didn't know that there was so many.
Yeah,
different
there's different
versions.
styles.
Spell the
of
first one.
Vinyasa.
Vinyasa, yes, Vinyasa.
I spelled it right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, we got the V one.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So we do the more traditional styles of yoga that I guess even if you didn't know the name of it, you've done it before.
Okay.
But we also do more contemporary styles, specialty styles. We do kids yoga, chair yoga. We do trap yoga. So yes. So we try to really open it up because, like I said, someone may not get into a hatha yoga, which is more strength-based yoga. They may want something that's like slow flow, so that might be a yin yoga. Or they may be like, oh, that's too much. I want something that builds up cardio and I want to dance, so that's why we have trap yoga. And we also have something for kids so they don't feel left out. So we really try to create an idea of variety and options and access to as many people as possible. Of course, you can't satisfy everybody, but you know, for the people that are out there, they should know that they do have options.
Yeah, you just about can get everybody. Trap yoga, I'm interested, okay? I don't
It's
know
a
if y'all
vibe.
heard that.
It's a vibe.
All you need to add is brunch to that, you know?
You know,
We're going to talk about, yeah.
right after. Well, thank you for explaining and sharing that with us.
Yes.
There's so much more to dive into, I can tell. What about you, Franchelle? Could you please let us all know about the wonderful work that you are doing right now?
Yeah. So Open Buffalo, we've been around since 2014. We were founded off of the thought of how can communities truly collaborate and develop systemic changes. So many times our campaigns, lawsuits, entrepreneurship, like we're focusing on all of these individual strategies that might improve things for a few people, but does it really improve the condition for an entire people, an entire community? So we tried to figure out, so how do you get there? Right? Like where in America have we actually ever seen true systemic changes? Not really. So we just started talking to people in the community. We talked to elders in the community, and they were like, look, I'm tired. Young people don't care about this community. I've been working 70 years at this thing, and I'm ready to pass the baton. We had that same conversation with young people. They said, I'm waiting for my shot to lead. The elders are gatekeepers. I can't get my foot in the door. I'm trying to do good work. Nobody let me in. So we took that and we flipped it. We said, well, how do we develop an intergenerational leadership development program where young people are learning from the elders, but then the elders are also learning from the young people. And we're elevating everybody's ability to not just think about starting a business or even starting a non-for-profit. Like, how do we figure out how to change the system that's been so oppressive to our physical bodies, to our pockets, to the air we breathe, to the soil we walk on. When you talked about the land acknowledgement, that's it. Like when we think about the oppression to our land that's happened, and how most of the people that live on the east side are living on a brownfield right now, like that's violence. That's violence to our air, to our soil. So that takes a lot to try to fix 200 years of industry on our land, how to fix the issues in our criminal justice system, how to make holistic healing available to everybody. There's a system that's blocking, especially people of color, especially Black folks, out of these systems. The sister talked about like the intimidation. Am I even welcomed here? So Open Buffalo, our job is to break down some of those silos and to really skill up people. Right now, we've trained over 150 emerging leaders. They're doing incredible work. They're running for office. They are starting co-ops and businesses. They're running national campaigns. They're doing their thing. And that's really what we need in order to start to open the gates in healing. We got to skill up our people. And once they're skilled up, we got to make sure that they're within a supportive network so that they can actually do the work. When it comes to healing, like my definition of it is very broad, right? And I think that that's what it takes when we talk about changing a system. We host racial healing circles, and I was on the fence at first. I was like, how is sitting in a circle talking about
I
stuff
was gonna ask.
gonna fix 400 years of oppression here in America,
Yeah.
right? But it's something about just being heard. One of the questions was, what was one time that you experienced bias or prejudice in your life? And the white people in the room, they listened, and it was usually later in life that they had some interaction. But for the Black people in the room, the conversation was kindergarten. When I was 3,
Wow.
I've always known it. And the healing of just being able to speak that. And for me, that's where true healing starts. Just having a loving space so that you can voice what you have been through. And then from there, there's other avenues that you can pursue. We know that accessible, culturally relevant mental health access is not always available here in Western New York. So we try to link with other providers, either through online providers or other communities of color, to be able to provide that follow-up healing support. That work really elevated to a new level after May 14th, and making sure that people were heard, that they were seen. And then the next step to that is people want to do, right? They vocalize what they're experiencing, but now how do they put that into action? And so that, again, that goes back to our leadership development program and helping people develop campaigns, organizations in order to address the systemic injustices that they've been facing. And healing from the environment is the third. The importance of being able to put your feet in grass and walk around, right, in a safe place, being able to breathe clean air, giving people access to that is a big part of our healing journey too. If you're a person of color in Western New York and Buffalo, most of us are anemic, and it's not always iron pills, right? Taking vitamin D supplements are important, but we need some sun. Our people come from Mother Africa. We need that sun. So getting outdoors, exposing our skin to the sun is such an important element to mental and physical healing as well.
I love the approach, because it takes a big amount of courage and love to care about not only yourself, like your own healing, because sometimes we're going so fast, we got so much going on, we don't stop to get that haircut or things like that.
Yeah.
But when you think about society and your community and like how are we all healing together, that's big. Like that's a big thought. So I kind of would have to, I want to like retract on my values a little bit, because maybe I don't just see it as a hobby. It seems like an outlet, like, and that's important for people to have. People go crazy without outlets, Got it.
Especially with a bad one.
Man, I'm telling you. Yeah. So thank you for that. I really appreciate you sharing that. And
Yeah, appreciate your work.
yeah. Franchelle's been oh yeah, and shout out to class of 2021, the leaders you was talking about. Yeah, one of them, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them host radio shows.
Come on, talk about it. Talk about it.
Just got to throw that out there. Well, what about you, Eann? Why don't you tell us what it is that you do and how you contribute to the community's healing?
I contribute to the holistic healing aspect is in a creative way. So I started a business in my college dorm room. I went to Fredonia University. It used to be Ear Entertainment. I thought it was just too much to type in. You have 3 letters, then you had to type in the whole entertainment. So ended up changing it with my business partner, Keema, who's also a DJ as well. We'll go by DJ 360. We did it in our dorm room. We switched it to ear quality. The EQ is the adjustment that you need in order for your music to sound right.
Equalizer, got
Yeah,
you.
come on. But also the little side note is my initials is actually ear. And the first instrument you learn how to use is your hearing. And the only way to hear the music is through hearing. So that is a little double entendre onto
Okay.
ear quality. And necessarily, what we necessarily do is we are artist relationship company. And what that means is that we come in a holistic way and we can support you in different aspects. Because I truly believe that management, you can't manage every artist. You can't work with every artist. But I can come in, I like to call it satellite management. I just made that up a long time ago, where we come in just for a moment of time to help you with certain tasks. Where management, I'm in a relationship with you. You can't get a relationship with everybody, and I'm taking a certain percentage from you to do X amount of things quarterly or for the yearly. Right now, what we do is more so you can hire us for a quarter and execute these X amount of things in order to support you in your music, or we can just one and done where one client, we help them because they got declined from Tiny Desk. And I said, well, forget Tiny Desk. We create our own Tiny Desk.
Yeah.
Booked the studio for a whole day. And what we did, we recorded 4 different songs, all different colors. We was able to play with the colors, so you won't even know that we was in the same spot. So I said, we're going to create our own Tiny Desk. So just working with a lot of different artists to understand the business of music, because it's 10% the music and then, the 90% of the business. It's not just posting up your music and just, hopefully I get a check. Who are they sending a check to if you're not registered with nobody? You don't even know who to register with. So just really coming in and educating, because I do have a background education, higher
Right.
education. So I always find a place to educate. I think it's important. I can do everything for you, but also if I do that, I want to educate you along the way. Because eventually my job is only temporary. You can either fire me or I'm just doing something for a certain amount of time. So just definitely just come in and support them, just help them come with new ideas, or if not doing that, what my company is doing, we're creating new opportunity. I started a new series last year because Diddy talked about how R&B is dead. I truly don't believe R&B is dead. It evolved.
Yeah.
And so I created a platform called R&B Ain't Dead, where we highlight not only a non-for-profit organization called Home, Housing Opportunity Made Equal, because I think it's important for our community to know their rights as renter, because the majority of us are renter. We're not necessarily homeowners, so you want to know your rights as well.
True.
But not throwing away the people who need to understand themselves as landlords too. So Home comes in to help with that, and I thought it was super, super important, especially coming out of COVID. You hear rent going up high, people not really know their responsibility or their rules and regulation. No, they can't put your rent 25% higher than what they that's actually illegal, you know. So just educating that. What we're doing differently this year is that we also highlighting home, but we're also highlighting the fridge. I talked to you about our mutual friend Lauren, who does the Buffalo Community Fridge. I think that's important because what she does is take food that's left over, not like from scraps or anything like that. It's not that terrible, but leftover food or items, and they put it in the fridge. The community fridge is free. You just show up, pull. And if what she tells you, it does not come down to your income or if you can afford it or not. It's there. It's for the community. Grab if you're thirsty. It's a hot summer day. Do that. So that's really what I do. I like to say I'm a person that's always behind the scenes, but moving around. If I'm not doing something for a client, I'm networking because in order to build new opportunities.
I like that. I want to ask you about another thing, but you got to talk about that fridge. And I remember it was only like 3 fridges. Now they got about 4 or 5. They're growing.
They got one in
doing a
Niagara
really good
Falls
job.
too now.
Yeah. Of Niagara Falls. That's awesome. I know somebody who actually started a pantry on their college campus. Like a food pantry. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Like, what? That's amazing. Like, oh my goodness, it was crazy. But another thing I wanted to ask you about,
Yeah.
I really, really want you to talk about this. Where did Bombers and Ties come from? You got to talk about Bombers and Ties.
So Bomber Ties is a curated playlist that I drop every Sunday before 1:00. So I'm literally every week I'm listening to new music. It just my favorite quote: "Where words fail, music speaks." That's my holistic healing. That's where I find my word. That's how I find my swag. That's how I find a way to talk to women back in the day.
That riz.
you know that little razzle dazzle to it. But it started because of 2020. It started during the COVID where I'm bored. I'm a super extrovert. I don't know if y'all can tell. I like to talk. Sometimes, and everyone asks me all the time, Eann, what you listen to? I send them, oh, where you find this? Oh, what you listen to? I got tired sending people links. And I'm like, okay, let me just make one-stop shop. You get 20 songs. You get 20 songs each week. I might do a little special, do 24, 22. But it started off of that. And then the name Bombers and Ties, I think it's put in two worlds at the time for me was I'm in higher education. I was a director at the time, and then now I'm in music. The Bombers is a representation of music, and the Ties represent higher ed. But also bringing two worlds together, just saying that you can listen to this in the office. I might find a good Gucci song that might have to go on the playlist. You may not want to play that, in the office. But more often than not, it's not necessarily just hip hop. I'm a very well versed music person. I didn't call myself Eann the Ear. That was given to me. So, I just like all different type of music. It's my healing. Having a stressful day, I need my music cranking up. Like right now, I got a new car. I need to fix my speakers because they're not loud enough.
Ooh, I feel the same about my speakers.
Yeah, they're not loud enough for me. I went from a Bose car to this. No, it's not it. But Bomber Ties is bringing the two worlds that's come together of the casual and the business.
Let me tell you guys, I wanted him to talk about this Bombers and Ties because he was talking about it on Facebook for some time, and I remember I was telling you, like, hey man, put that in the group, man, put that on the other page.
You was encouraged, right? Yep.
And because it was amazing, so I clicked on it one day because I have this thing where I'm so tired of hearing the same music, but my brain goes back to the same thing. If I think about music from like '05, I'm gonna go back to the same 3 songs I always think of. So it's like I usually have to be around other people to be like, oh my gosh, I do remember that song. Let me save it because my memory sucks nowadays. But I'm like, let me check this guy's playlist out. Bombers, and I didn't even know what a bomber was, okay?
Like a bomber?
I have those moments a lot. Didn't know holistic healing, didn't know bomber. But I learned,
Yes.
So I played it, and I'm just going to say one of the songs that I fell in love with off the rip, I think the first one was Call You Back by Erykah Badu. I don't know if you guys ever heard it, but it's a good one. You got to check it out one day. Amazing. It was a couple other ones, and I hit him up immediately like, yo, you put me on, dude. Like, oh my goodness. So I definitely want you to tell people how they can tune into that as well.
You know, when I hear that, that's a love language for me. When people just say, "Oh, I love this song," or "You put me on," I appreciate that because I just listen to music all day. Yeah. Wednesday is really when I do my research, and then Sunday morning, every morning, I'm putting that together. And it takes me a while because I need that first song to hit right, to flow. Everything else, I'm fine. but I got to get that first song. And usually I listen about 40, 50 songs in a week. So I got to go back and listen to them again. But to answer your question, you can find me on Apple Music, Tidal, and Spotify. Heavy on Spotify. If you want to hear some old playlists, you can go on my Spotify profile, and it's under Sound Waves, and it has the week that it was posted.
Okay.
So it's like 181 playlists on there.
Jeez.
I
Not
had-
songs, playlists?
Playlists, 181 playlists. I'm trying to push for 200, and I have about 115 listeners.
I feel like you're a DJ on the
growing.
low. Like, you just didn't say it.
I used to DJ in high school. I
Yeah.
used to-
You mentioned DJ 360, but
Yes.
come on now. Okay, so I actually requested, I asked Eann for a special request. I wanted to see if he could put a little song together for us, or share a song that is on his playlist now. And who did you say did this?
This is Diddy, Puff Daddy, P Diddy, or you want to call him Love. He got so many names these days. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he got a trademark. So, yes, this is him and Justin Bieber. Do not write it off yet because this is a different Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Diddy got him singing R&B, y'all, and that's my first love before rap, to be honest. But yeah, this is well written, very nice. It's called Moments, I think, and
Moments.
it's gonna start off slow, but watch when that bass. You heard it. Watch when
All
the
right,
beat
yeah,
come
we
in.
can listen to a
I'm
little bit
sorry.
of it. Let me go ahead and put it on. Make sure I do this right.
Patiently waiting, I've been faking for a long time. And now I want you. Ooh, I want you. Oh. I've been patient, patiently waiting. I've been faking for a long time. Now I want you. Ooh, I want you. Oh, you got me all of my feelings crazy, taking it slow. I need you running, running, running to my arms. Jealous for you, but I just can't help it. I'd rather be out there with you than on my own. Oh. I don't wanna waste time. I don't wanna waste time. Oh no. I don't wanna waste time. I don't wanna waste time. Oh no. I don't wanna take your love for granted. I just wanna cherish every second. Yeah. You and me together, what a blessing. Please just tell me that you get the message. No, I don't wanna. You and me, oh, ecstasy, ecstasy, oh. Yeah. No, I don't wanna.
There's just something about music, man.
I like it.
You
Thanks.
know who actually made me fall in love with music, and people laugh at me and never believe me. That one artist that made me fall in love with music, Rick James.
Rick James?
Believe it or not, my dad used to work out in the basement. He used to play that track over and over and over.
Yeah.
There's nothing like them horns on them songs. There's nothing like that writing. There's no funk like that at all. Since then, I just fell in love with music.
Man, you know what? Rick James. It's funny that you brought him up because I know so many people who have like stories about Rick James in Buffalo, hanging out with his daughter and stuff like.
Have one of my old boss say, he held me as a baby. I'm like, okay.
That's different. I've never heard that one. I usually hear like the normal Tupac, the Biggie. I don't hear anything like that.
And I didn't
Not
know he
Rick
was from
James.
Buffalo until maybe later in my, I think early 20s. I ain't gonna hold you.
I never
I'll
even.
be 30 next
yeah.
month, so
Don't
I
tell
just love the
nobody
guy.
else.
Yeah.
Don't tell nobody else. All right. But thanks for sharing that song. I definitely adopted it already. I don't know everything. I don't know if you suggest a song, I'm getting it because you never steer me wrong.
I appreciate that.
I want to go into a question for you guys. So besides yoga, what other areas of healing do you venture into? Do you like to indulge in?
Well, aside from me being a yoga instructor, I am also a performing artist. I'm an actress. Yeah, I'm a theater actress. I've been doing that for several years. But I like to. I started off my performing arts career as a spoken word artist.
Okay.
I have been a poet, writer for my whole life. And so I was a part of a spoken word collective. And then immediately from there, I kind of delved into theatrical acting because spoken word is kind of when you're acting out your piece.
Yeah.
And so you're telling a story. And so that kind of like melded nicely with one another. So I've been doing acting for quite some time. And I feel like that is another area where you can express yourself. You can actually, find a sense of freedom. Even though you're playing someone else, those characters a lot of times relate to other people's stories, other people's journeys. And so just being able to do that for as long as I've been doing it. And like I said, being a poet and being a spoken word artist, and finding these different outlets to let people know that, there are different ways that you can find your healing. It's not just within like the physical self and exercising and things of that nature. It's important, but there's other ways for you to identify what your healing is going to be. So that's something aside from yoga that I do, to bring healing to the people.
Okay. I mean, you dealing with a lot of stuff right there. Now you got some ultra healing going on. I like it. Like the vibe is cool. What about you, Fran? What type of? And I know you mentioned. No, I don't think you mentioned it. Eann mentioned it, and you were like, "Yeah, you guys did some flotation type stuff." So, I guess what besides that do you indulge in healing wise?
It definitely. I think I'm at a stage in my life where I'm trying to discover different things and what actually brings me peace. There were things that brought me peace in college, and now I can't stand it. Right, it's actually nerve wracking now. Right, so how taking the time to actually explore what you like. I did the flotation thing. At first, I felt like I was trapped in a coffin. I didn't like it.
I couldn't stay afloat. I'm sorry. I'm like, it's not.
It takes a long time to get all that salt out of your hair. So I tested it out, and I don't need to do that again. So right now, I find a lot of healing in just watching YouTube videos of sermons.
Come on.
And two people in particular, Dr. Anita Phillips is a psychiatrist, and she's also a pastor, and Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Oh yeah, that's my girl.
Between them two sisters, whatever I'm going through, I can scroll down. I'm like, trauma, okay? Beefing with somebody in the community. Where can I find it? Right? And just being able to sit back, not respond, and have folks pour positivity into you. I didn't know how much I needed that outside of just like traditional church, right? But it's a part of my maybe every other day spiritual healing. So I find joy in that. and looking for ways to laugh.
Mm.
And that's becoming harder and harder. Now I feel like the grumpy old person, like, that's not funny. That's
Not you,
music."
Fred. Not
When,
you.
when you said R&B is dead, I was like, yes, it is. So I'm that complaining person. So I have to actively seek out ways to laugh. And like scientifically, that it shifts your ability to heal your body. You know, they do studies on cancer patients and their ability to laugh and still find joy and how that helps to repair the cells in your body.
Yeah.
So, even though I'm a poli-sci nut, sometimes I have to turn off the news. And, it doesn't, as a justice person, it's not the best thing to say, right? You got to watch the news. Sometimes you can't. It's so much that's happening in our community, our planet, that we have to be intentional and protect our gates. Yeah. What are we listening to? What are we watching? In order to facilitate the intentional healing. Healing shouldn't just be like, letting a bruise on your hand heal. You take the Band-Aid off and then one day it's just healed. Right? Holistic healing involves intentionality. And really taking a critical eye on what are the areas in my body that need to heal. And listening.
Thank you. I like that. I feel it all. But R&B ain't dead.
Yeah, I just want to add,
You gotta check out some
October
avenues.
14th, we have Musical Fair. Tickets still on sale. I don't mean to take over, but I'm going to get her right. And you know what? I'll take $10 off your ticket just so you can show
my
up.
goodness.
And your first drink is on me.
Okay.
So you need to pull up. October
out
14th
Bombers
is a
and
Saturday. It is at 7 p.m. I'll make sure you get the information. Both of y'all. I'm going to make sure y'all both get the information. R&B ain't dead.
I'm there.
Yeah. Now, this
Sorry.
might be a little hard. Besides music,
Yeah.
how do you
I'm overthinking.
indulge? Yeah.
Believe it or not, because I'm born and raised in Niagara Falls, lived in Buffalo for about 3 to 4 years. I really like to be alone, although I'm an extrovert. I like to be around water. I like to be around grass. I like just walking, like going by the harbor, being by water, listen to my music, just really kind of do internal thought process, processing other things. Sometimes just dwelling on the day and just kind of like thought process. But I worked on that not to focus too much on that because I started being nitpicky. I could have did this better. In therapy, I learned, I got to let things be what it is. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would say just really just kind of being by myself, taking walks and just being, be near some nature. I watch a lot of TV too. I love my shows. I like to challenge myself, different things all the time. I never thought I would be floating in this egg-shaped thing, but I done it. This year I was trying to do skydiving, but that didn't work out, but I'm definitely doing that next year. I had 30 things before 30. I did 2 things. Just things. But that's really I hate to say it because music is really my happy place. The news sometimes is a routine I have. I think I'm old too. In the morning, gotta watch a little bit of news. Before you go to bed, gotta watch a little news. But yeah, I just watch a lot of shows. Chilling. I'm watching The Walking Dead. Never watched that. I'm persevering through that. And I'm a movie head. I love Marvel and Star Wars. So anything of that, I'm watching.
All right.
And little anime. So that's my little happy place.
I'm taking tips from all of you guys. I'm trying this flotation thing out.
You should try it.
I'm making me a 30 under 30, but 30 before 30 list. Or maybe I should do like 35 before 35 because I'm a little close now. But like, okay. Come on, I might need to write me some poems down.
Yeah.
You guys are putting me on in a whole nother way. I don't even know if I talked. I didn't really bring a holistic healing thing here, so I guess I'll just talk about what I do naturally. Kind of like Fran, I listen to a lot of videos. TD is my man. Sarah, I see her a lot, but TD's my man, So I hop on his videos, always doing like some, positive affirmation type stuff. I love learning about myself, so I'm always doing like little tests, little things, and it just brings me peace, like to learn about myself. And then getting into therapy, one of the best things I ever did, and it's actually counseling. I wonder if a lot of people know, like, if you have, like, regular health insurance, even if it's like Medicaid, go ahead and get you a counselor. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes for free. Go ahead.
And I hate to be to do another plugs. CHCB, Community Health Center at Buffalo. We have a one-stop shop. We have behavioral health, family planning. We even have ways of your inability of paying. So make sure you come. The CEO is black. A lot of people is black in that center. I'm trying to just bring more awareness to that, especially the younger generation, because I think we need to know. It's in the community. It's on 34 Bentwood. It's in the community. It's right down the street from South Buffalo. Sorry, I just had to because you mentioned that.
What is CHCB?
Community Health Center at Buffalo.
Okay. Community Health Center at Buffalo. Thank you for sharing that. But yes, that counseling is like a lot, like the freedom of my mind that is given me, as I go on is a lot, because I'm recognizing that if I can change my mind about certain things, changing my thoughts, then I can change my feelings, my mood. And I'm just so proud of how far I've come.
As you
and
should.
I'm excited to learn more techniques and just, my counselor is like one of the favorite people. He doesn't know he's my best friend. Like, he's my best friend. I'm like, man, I'm so happy to see him. I don't want you to go. We need a 2-hour session. But yeah, he knows I'm never going to stop going.
You do 2 hours, you gotta pay for that 2 hours.
You got to pay for the 2 hours now. But go ahead and get you a free 45 minutes, somebody out there. Free 45, maybe half an hour. But
You found it helpful in your growth, your next step of growth?
Oh, absolutely. Because, I mean, taking the mindset that I had, I wouldn't have survived. I wouldn't have survived at all. Because, I mean, I used to say you got to have, like, tough skin for things, but it's like you really just got to know how to talk to yourself. You got to have positive outlooks on things instead of focusing on what the bad side of something might be. If you focus on the positive, there's no problem. So I might have probably created problems where there was no problem, or shied away from things that I should have walked into with the armor. And so it's definitely helped out. And I see, so many people sometimes in family, and I'm like, man, I don't have the training and education, but I would give it to you.
Yes.
And I'd be like, yo, man, why don't you try it? I do it. So-and-so does it. I try to now, like, bring up people who are everyday people who do it, like, to try to encourage them. And first thing somebody says, they always say the same thing, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not crazy, or
I don't want to pop no pills.
Yeah,
I'm not.
like,
Nobody say you getting pills, bro.
and the one that kills me is the person that wants to do it, thinks it's a good idea, but then as soon as the conversation ends, the thought ends, and it's like, I really just want to text you 3 hours from now, like, yo, did you call? Did you? I really just want everybody, like, to get that type of. It really is needed. Like, Jesus.
If you don't mind me adding too, I think it's important. It's just starting small. I have a group of guys that I went to undergrad with that we still have this continued group chat. We have on Instagram. We continue to chat. Every one of them end up getting therapists because I kept on pushing it. Just like, it's important. And sometimes it takes one person in a group to do it and come back to the group and continue to talk positively about it. Like, bro, maybe I need to go. They go to my person. So all of them, we continue to talk about it. And then you can tell the growth because of some of our conversation. Or they be like, oh, so-and-so got me together today, y'all. And then it's very empowering and it's very heartwarming to see that, especially my guys. Like, these are the guys of the guys. Like, I don't cry, no. And they over here like, yo, this has been super, super helpful because a lot of the stuff that they're dealing with has to deal with, like, culture different. Have a friend that's Jamaican, have one that's Guyana, and like just different culture thing that they necessarily couldn't work with because it's not part of the culture. So navigating that has been super helpful.
Yeah. Lastly, on the freaking counseling thing, if y'all want to hop back into, because it's just such a great topic. I mean, it's so great. Accountability would be, like, my biggest takeaway. Like, I've learned accountability on another scale. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with it, it's about the balance between grace and accountability. You have to give yourself grace to not beat up on yourself when things don't go the way that you want them to, or you don't do the things that you're supposed to. But you also have to have the accountability to say, okay, I have to step forward. I have to move on in my journey, whatever the case may be. You have to have that balance. And I think something like therapy can definitely teach you or give you those skills to be able to do that, because sometimes we try to, there's only so much that we can give to ourselves before we hit a wall. And so with therapy, it helps us push past that wall, because it gives us a different insight that we haven't even seen.
There we go.
So it's all these different skills and all these different tools that you can get by going to a therapy session. And it's beautiful that we're talking about this, because it helps break that stigmatism that, Black people can't go to therapy, or that's
Absolutely.
not something that we do. This is something that is almost like with yoga.
Yeah.
It's open. And we have to learn how to push past those barriers that has been purposely placed in our way to stop us from growing and progressing,
Right.
and really get that help and get that healing that we deserve that.
Yeah, maybe the thought around it just needs to change.
Yeah.
Because maybe people are like, well, I'm not crazy, but instead of thinking of it as like a step towards growth, like a step towards betterment, empowerment. Like if we started thinking of it like that, like when you feel like you don't know what to do anymore, or and you want to grow, go. Now it's just a thought.
And I think, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to big up Dr. Anita Phillips again. Following her on social media, like she breaks down, and a lot of times I think that especially Black folks hide behind a spiritual, I'm gonna pray my way through this. So she also breaks it down from a spiritual perspective on like, oh, God has blessed the people and anointed the people in our community that have skills in order to unpack what is here.
Right.
So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is the breakdown in our village structure in Black communities.
I was just going to say
So
that.
at one point, we had aunties and great-grandmothers and great-grandmothers that you could really sit at a kitchen table and have a conversation with. We don't have those anymore, right? You had an entire community or in a block that you can have those type of conversations with. And right now, we don't have that. We live very individual. This is my household. This is my family lifestyle. So where is someone pouring into you? Where is someone giving you that advice and that structure if you don't have that in your family unit? So this isn't a new concept. People have been elders and qualified practitioners and healers and community have been practicing this since the beginning of time. This isn't new. So that's the last piece. And then stick with it. A lot of times people are like, oh, I went one and it didn't work. She said something and I'm like, she don't get it. She racist, right? Okay. But you don't go to the gym if you're a little fluffier like myself, right? You don't go to the gym one time and you're like, oh, I didn't leave out with abs. Yeah, of course.
You know what? I actually do that, Fran. I can't front. Like I get upset.
No, you're gonna have to go more than a dozen times in order to start getting a little crazy, right?
Yeah.
And the same way with having that mental health breakthrough, you're gonna have to stick with it. And maybe if you didn't connect with the first, second, or third person, it's kind of like dating too, right? You didn't marry the first person that you met, right? You went on a couple of different dates, and eventually you'll learn what you need in the practice, and then you'll be able to identify quicker. Like, is this something? Is this a match? Is this something in my gut? This is not gonna work, right? But you have to stick with it and try out different things. And if therapy isn't for you, maybe just having a friend that's an active listener, someone that's like not like, oh, let me tell you about what happened to me. No, that's not what we're doing right now.
Right.
I just need someone to just listen. So again, kind of just doing that deep inventory of yourself and trying to figure out what is it that I truly need, and not just wasting a bunch of co-pays if that's not what you need. Maybe it's not what you need.
You're right
But
about that.
you have to try out different hats and different strategies to really figure that out.
Thank you so much for speaking to that. We're getting towards the end here of our program. Thank you once again, everybody, for coming out. I did forget to share earlier, the Western New York Peace Center actually has, tomorrow's the last day of this session that we started over the summer, but we have a mind, body, and skills session that we do. I believe it's every Tuesdays or Thursdays. We'll be changing up the time, getting ready for the next session. We don't have dates yet, but if you want to inquire about it, definitely go to the Western New York Peace Center.org. Give us a call, send us an email, let us know that you are interested in being in the next session. So what we do in our sessions is basically we focus on all those areas that we named earlier, the emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. So there's movement techniques, there's group therapies, all types of things. So once again, if you want to inquire about that, WesternNewYorkPeaceCenter.org. If you want to inquire about the more of our shows, Talking Peace, you can find that on Think Twice Radio on Facebook. To learn more about Shawnell, I apologize, Shawnell's yoga sessions. I mean, how do they get in contact with you?
Okay, so currently our social media, our Facebook has been compromised. So we're still on Instagram. So that's where we're going to be basically at. You can visit us at our website at www.afrochickyoga.com.
All right.
We're going to be having some really exciting things going on this year. Some free sessions coming up.
Gotcha.
So really excited about that.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Eann. How do we?
You can find me on Instagram at Eann the Ear. E-A-N is not I-N, is E-A-N-N the Ear. And then I hope to see everybody October 14th for our R&B Ain't Dead showcase. Tickets on sale.
All right. And Franchelle, how do we get in touch with you and Open Buffalo?
Follow everything on social media, all the little platforms I don't even know about. Follow them too. It's Open Buffalo. You can go to our website and look at all of our events, sign up for the newsletter. And we are doing community listening sessions. Those community listening sessions are for our eco center, our ecology center. Huge project, and we need the voice and the input of everybody in the community.
Thank you. Now with that, we are ending our show. This is Talking Peace, and we have been Talking Peace. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being here as guests.